Hello, good evening. Welcome. My name is Dylan Stafford. I am the Assistant Dean. I'm accountable for admissions here at UCLA Anderson. I see a couple names that I recognize, so I may have met some of you in the admission journey already, but welcome to How FEMBA Transforms Careers. It's my pleasure to be here with you tonight. We have about an hour and a half. We'll leave some time for questions at the end. I am joined by Chris Liu, who is a cognitive science major at UCLA, and he is on our team. He's helping me run the meeting tonight. And thanks for being here, Chris. You may, when you send emails to our main address, you might meet Chris. He's part of the team that works with Aaron Wimberly, who brings answers to you as quickly as we can in this still pseudo virtual environment. Let me share screen and get this up. So yeah, tonight is called How FEMBA Transforms Careers, and I have a quote there from our one and only Coach John Wooden. Make today your masterpiece. If those of you who went to UCLA undergrad are just familiar with UCLA's long history, Coach Wooden is one of the most winning coaches in college athletics. ESPN named him the coach of the century last century. He's an icon at UCLA, and that's one of his many, many wonderful quotes. Make today your masterpiece. And I want to do some brainstorming with you tonight. This is a very big picture session tonight. The opportunity to look, hey, what could my life be about? And would graduate school help me achieve my goals and dreams? UCLA Anderson is a big investment of time and money. It's one of the premier schools on the planet, definitely the best school in Southern California. We think the best school on the West Coast, if not even further afield than that. And, we're going to talk, how does this investment of time and money, this is a lot of time and a lot of money. This is a big sacrifice. It's roughly $43,000 a year for 3 years. So you can do the math in terms of just the dollars. And it's 15 to 25 hours a week during the quarter when school's in session. So this is not a small game. This is a big game for big people. And if you're here tonight, it's a Tuesday night, it's February, there's lots of things you could be doing. The Olympics are on, et cetera, and you're here. And I want to engage with you where you are and look at your hopes and dreams and see if Anderson could be a trusted partner for you to fulfill those hopes and dreams. So again, the title of tonight is How FEMBA Transforms Careers. So, and Chris is just going to keep letting people in as they join us, and we're just thrilled that you're here. So, welcome to UCLA. On behalf of over 500,000 alumni, tens of thousands of faculty and staff, and the current and alumni students, we are one of the premier destinations on the planet, and we're proud to get to be part of the UCLA brand. If you're not keeping up with these things, because who has time to keep up with these things, but UCLA for 5 years in a row has been the #1 public university in the land, according to U.S. News and World Report. So we're very proud of UCLA Anderson, but we are nested within the mothership that is UCLA. And 2017, 18, 19, 20, and 21, for the last 5 years consecutively, UCLA has earned the #1 accolade in the land. And more specifically tonight, we're talking about the Fully Employed MBA program. We call it FEMBA. That's our acronym. And FEMBA is #1 in Southern California, always since the rankings began in 1996, and #5 in the nation currently in both U.S. News and World Report and Fortune magazine. So we think that this is a destination that's worth your time and your attention, and we want to tell you how it works for people, how taking the time to go to grad school at UCLA in business while you keep your job, the Fully Employed MBA program, how that can transform your career. So some of the highlights that have us be the best part-time program destination on the West Coast, in our opinion, we have an incredible field study opportunity. You have two choices for it's basically an applied master's thesis, either the Global Access Program, which we fondly call GAP, or the entrepreneurial track, which we call the Business Creation Option. Anderson has offered field studies since 1969. Harvard just got into the game the last few years. We have been doing high-intensity, practical, meet real business executives, deal with real business challenge practicum consultancies as our field study for over 50 years. And the Global Access Program and the Business Creation Option are two of the best that you can experience anywhere. They are transformative capstone experiences. So that's one of the highlights of FEMBA. Our global immersions are back. We're working with COVID, but we are traveling again, going to Kuala Lumpur and United Arab Emirates and Spain and Eastern Europe and South America and Israel. We go to emerging markets around the world. I'll show you on the next slide. On the intersessions in your second and third year, you'll have multiple opportunities. During the typical course of FEMBA, you'll have over 20 country destinations. They're optional. You don't have to do them. They're basically a one-week study abroad. We invented them here in 2007 and 2008 for executive and part-time MBA students, which is what the fully employed MBA program is considered. It's a executive MBA type program where you keep your job while you go to school. So that's a second highlight. The third is our incredibly globally diverse classmates. A typical FEMBA class is between 250 and 300 students, and we will have over 30 different countries of birth represented each and every year. So it's a chance to meet people that you just wouldn't meet otherwise and build a truly global network that will serve you for the next decades of your career. And lastly, we have a dedicated career services team. I'm going to show you in a few slides what happens to people's salaries while they are in FEMBA. And the results are remarkable, how instantly people's careers transform just in one attribute, which is measuring salary. So we have a dedicated career services team, Pam, Susan, Jackie, Marge, Matt, all supported by Brianna, who focus 100% on the FEMBA journey. These are all executive certified coaches. They meet you where you are. If you're switching to a new company, if you are enhancing the career you've already built, if you want to launch your own company and be an entrepreneur, if you're just exploring and you don't exactly know where you fit yet, Susan, Pam, Jackie, Marge, Matt, Brianna, they meet you where they are. We also have executives in residence. We also have full support of the Parker Career Management Center, which is there to help the full-time student body. So those four highlights are world-class field study, global immersive courses, globally diverse classmates, dedicated career services, and I would be remiss if I didn't say one of the premier faculty in the land and in the world. Our faculty are pound for pound some of the highest outputting research faculty that you can find at any of the top schools around the world. So those are some of the highlights that we will be referencing tonight. But tonight is really about how does this thing transform your career? All of that is happening in the background, and I want to paint a picture with you tonight of how it transforms your career. So this is the curriculum, in case you haven't seen it. It's 2.5 to 3 years. You can do it shorter. You can get done in 2 years. Some people do. You can stretch it out to 4 years or longer. If you get a promotion and you have to take a leave of absence for a quarter or two, an unplanned pregnancy or a planned pregnancy, and you just want to focus on family for a moment. People have car accidents and they hurt their back or they blow their knee out running a marathon. So you can shorten the program or you can expand the program. The program is incredibly flexible, but on average, it's a 2.5 to 3 year experience. And these blue courses are the core courses. So these are the courses that you do in lockstep. You get admitted to the program and you just tell us what schedule you want. You have 3, sometimes 4 schedule choices. You can either come Tuesday night and Thursday night. That's very popular with people here in LA County. There's an all-day Saturday class option, which is super popular with South Orange County, San Diego, even some of our fly-in folks from the Bay Area. There's a hybrid format where you're here once every 3 weekends. 50% of your material is pre-recorded, so you watch it asynchronously, and then you come for a 2-day weekend every 3 weekends. That's called hybrid. And then we also have a blended Saturday choice where you are on campus every other weekend, and on the alternate weekends, you stay home and watch on Zoom. So after you're admitted, you tell us what schedule you want, and that is the schedule that you're in as you go through the core classes. So data and decisions, organizational behavior, that's fall of your first year after an incredible kickoff, which is a 1-week immersive experience called Leadership Foundations. Then in winter, you take accounting and economics. In spring, you take finance and marketing. We'll circle back to summer. You can either take the summer off or you can begin electives. And then you come back in the fall of year 2 for operations and strategy. And then in the summer and fall of the second year going into the third year, that's when you do the 6-month field study, either the Global Access Program, the Business Creation option. There's even Anderson Student Asset Management. There's even a third option for people who are super involved in investing. So the blue courses are the core courses. That's 44 units, 11 out of the 20 courses. The electives, which I'll show you now, are in yellow, and they are 9 of the 20 courses. So you customize 45% of the education. 45% of the education, almost half, you get to choose. You can focus on finance, accounting, marketing, cybersecurity, crypto, whatever. Well, you can't focus on crypto, but we have courses all across the spectrum of what's going on in the world right now. We do have specializations, is what I was referring to. There are about 15 specializations. There's not a specialization in crypto, even if we're going to have some standalone courses that will be referring to NFTs and modern financial instruments, et cetera, investment opportunities. But you get to customize almost half of the degree. And within those electives, you have 15 different specializations. Many people get 1, some people get 2, some people even get 3 specializations, and we guide you through all of that. So if you want to take a break that first summer there at year 2, you can, but most people go ahead and jump into electives, get going, and get done in 2.5 years. But if you want to give yourself some time off, you don't have to take electives that summer. You could give yourself a pause, and you could take those electives in the winter of your 3rd year. If you don't want to take the vertical elective, or you don't want to take that elective the second summer, then you could stretch out and take electives in spring of year 3. Again, you have plenty of time to make these decisions, totally customizable. The duration can be adjusted down to 2 years, out to 3, and even 4 years. And now these bouncing verticals, these represent the opportunities to participate in the global immersions that I mentioned. So in your 2nd year, at the intersession moments, spring break, fall break, winter break, and summer break, there are typically 2, sometimes 3 different country option choices at each of those intersessions. So if you want to go to Southeast Asia for one break, you can do that, and then the next break you could go to Israel. So you could expose yourself to 2 different parts of the world economy that you may know a little about, or you may know nothing about. So it's an incredible opportunity. You take a week off work and you travel with fully employed MBAs, executive MBAs, and students in the daytime, the full-time MBA program. All 3 of our MBA cohorts travel together for these global immersions. So you take the week off work. Usually you go a few days early, stay a few days late, do cultural stuff on both ends. People do side trips. During the week, you're meeting with government officials, business executives. You're getting a behind-the-scenes look at that economy from a business point of view. So it's an incredible way to jumpstart if you have a desire to expand your lifetime career opportunity set beyond the United States, beyond Southern California. So, and again, we invented those here, 2007, 2008. You can even start taking electives if your grades are above a 3.5. You can even jumpstart and take an elective in the spring of your 1st year. So, I haven't introduced myself. I told you about Chris Liu, who is here, who is awesome. My name is Dylan Stafford. I'm an assistant dean. I have been here this is my 20th year. I will hit my 20-year anniversary August 26th. I followed my fiance, who's now my wife, to California with her promotion. I earned an MBA from the University of Chicago, the Booth School. It wasn't called Booth yet. I'm from Texas originally. That's the twang you'll hear. I went to Texas A&M University undergrad. I was a history major with a Spanish minor. I thought I was going to go to law school, and my heart wasn't in it. So I might have been where some of you might be tonight. Like, I don't know if I want to go to grad school. And if I do go to grad school, I don't know exactly what degree I want to get. That's exactly where I was 30 years ago, a couple years after undergrad. And I ultimately chose an MBA. My father is a minister. My mother is a public school teacher. They're now all retired. No one in my family was really a business person. And I remember I loved to read the newspaper. I always loved, Newsweek. I always loved to stay abreast of current events. But when I'd get to the business section, it was just all Greek to me. And I thought, if I go to a fancy school and get a business degree, I bet I can have an interesting life. And that's what I wrote about in my essays. I said, I want to be a bridge builder between Texas and Mexico, because I was a Spanish minor. And, and that was my big plan. This was 2 years before NAFTA. This was like 92, 93, because I graduated in 91. And that was what was in my Chicago essays. I want to get a fancy MBA. I want to do a study abroad to Spain or Mexico. I want to come back to Texas, and I want to get a cool job facing Latin America. And what actually happened, I went away. I got a fancy MBA. I did study in Spain. I had a wonderful semester in Barcelona. And when I was looking for a job upon return, the peso had devalued in the fall of 94. And there was not a job to be found in Mexico that I could figure out. And I interviewed with 36 companies who told me no before I found one company who told me yes. And my plan A was to be based in Texas and have a Spanish-speaking environment facing Latin America. And the actual plan was to move to Santa Clara, get a job with a German company. And that was my first 6.5 years after my MBA. It was 2 years in Santa Clara. Then I was promoted to the world headquarters in Munich, Germany, where I got an all-expense-paid 3-year assignment. My salary, after withholding all that, my monthly cash flow doubled. And this was only 2 years after I'd graduated. For 3 years, I paid off half of my student loans during that time, and I was getting paid to live in Europe. It was an incredible wow MBA result. And a little guy from Denison, Texas, East Texas, very small town, 22,000 people in my small town, not even a suburb, just a town in East Texas. We were the town, the kids from the little towns, like 1,000 and 2,000 people, they came to our town for the weekend. That's where I grew up. And all of a sudden I found myself in an incredible apartment, corporate apartment, penthouse apartment, looking out over Munich at a world headquarters for a Fortune 50 company. So, and then I got laid off after 9/11 off of a global change management team, and I was falling in love, and my girlfriend, starting to be maybe a fiance, was getting promoted with her career to Los Angeles, and I followed her. And I got a little foot in the door job at UCLA the first year, and then a year after that I became the director, and about 10 years ago I became an assistant dean, and now, blink of an eye, it'll be 20 years this fall. I've written 2 books since I started working here. I'll tell you tonight, entrepreneurship is in the water at UCLA. If you even have the hint of an entrepreneurial dream, this is an incredible place to nurture that dream and get the support you need to turn that dream into a business plan, and turn that business plan into investors, and turn those investors into trusted board members, and turn that entire thing into a reality. We have people who start businesses every single year here successfully. The business creation option that I mentioned is really the pathway to do that. I got married since I've been here. I have a wife who loves me, who I love dearly. We have 2 sons. We're raising them here in Culver City, one of the most diverse school systems in the land. My life has turned out. I'm 52 years old, and now the second half of my life is how do I give it away? And I'm all about leadership. And that's who I'm relating to tonight as I look at you all. If you're here tonight, you're interested in how big could my life be? How big could my career be? So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So I'm probably going to screw up my timeline. Oh, and also I've heard hundreds of success stories. I'll give you some links. We'll give you some links. Chris is checking everybody in. Oh, I forgot to ask, could you please name yourself with like a real name that we can match to the registration tonight? Because we will send you some follow-up links, but we want to know that you attended tonight. So if you have some kind of cryptic name, if you could please just rename yourself, that would really help Chris taking attendance, and it will also help you receive the follow-up links that we'll send after this is over. So I have a podcast called Drive Time. It's been running since 2016. Real stories of our 3 pillars: think fearlessly, share success, drive change. Those are the 3 pillars of UCLA Anderson. Think fearlessly, get smarter, share success, build your network, drive change, get an incredible amount of confidence. These are the podcasts I recorded last year, our 2021 summer spotlights. James Fang had been a consultant for 8 years with PwC. He reinvented himself. He's now in health tech and moved back to the East Coast where he's from. Derek Cox is I'm going to re-interview him this Friday. So if you want to hear an incredible story, he played defense in the NFL for 7 seasons, 5 different teams. He intercepted both Peyton Manning and Tom Brady in his career. Then he came to UCLA, Anderson, to reinvent himself, and now he's working for the NFL. So it's NFL to NBA, back to NFL. He's got an incredible job with the NFL building programming to help athletes get ready for life after their playing career. Maxine Hupy is now with Deloitte Consulting. She was a professional dancer. She was on a global dance tour with CeeLo Green for 2 years. Was a professionally trained dancer, has been dancing since she was 8, I think, studied dance at Northwestern, made a living as a professional dancer here in Los Angeles for a decade, and now she is a senior consultant at Deloitte. Ben Rovner was an actor who's now married and has his first daughter, all during FEMBA, and is a consultant with the Boston Consulting Group. Arun is from the nonprofit sector. He runs finance at LACMA. He's a semi-professional dancer. He danced all the way through UCLA Anderson and wants to make his entire career in nonprofit. And then Megan Roberts was last year's student body president. She works for Nielsen IQ. Her father is an Anderson grad, and she was our student body president last year. So these podcasts that I record are deep dives of real people just like you, mapping out their future, trust in UCLA. They're great ways to start to understand all the jargon, all the little nooks and corners and crannies of special opportunities, because Anderson is so entrepreneurial. I mean, you want to spend a lot of time on our website, but it's just difficult to say quickly all the opportunities that there are at Anderson. It's worth your time to listen to these folks. These folks were also all nominated by their peers. So of the almost 300 people in the class of 2021, these were the ones who received the most votes from their peers. The world should hear these stories. So these are, in my opinion, very inspiring stories of young, high aspiration, high potential people who are aiming even a little bit higher by getting their graduate degree. This is my team. Christy is on maternity leave right now, but she'll be back probably in April. Roy, Raymond, Aaron, Chris, Cynthia. We are small but mighty. Along with Chris, who's checking you in tonight. We are the people who answer the phones, respond to the emails, build the website, coordinate with our ambassadors, and we want to meet you. I'll give you my link at the end if you'd like to do a one-on-one with me. I have a simple link. It goes out 60 days in advance. I have office hours 3 afternoons a week, but all of us, Roy, Raymond, Chris, are the outbound counselors. Cynthia is the face of the program. She's our office manager. Erin is she keeps the trains on time. She handles the entire collection of your transcripts and essays, prepares everything for faculty committee. And then we also have some alumni volunteers beyond that. This, if you want to take a picture of this link, if you haven't found this page already, we have a Connect with a Student page with over 60 student and alumni volunteers that we lovingly call our ambassadors. Will and Wing are the co-presidents, and they are doing just an incredible job. So if you'd like to talk to current students, the place to find them, all of them have their LinkedIn profiles and they all have their email address. Reach out. These are all busy working professionals, so this is not operators standing by. We're not that kind of place. These are people volunteering their own time. But if you see somebody, oh, they're at Disney, I'm at Disney. If you see someone, oh, they're in the hybrid section, I think I want to do the hybrid section. You can, visually just surf around and find lots of people to reach out to. So, and we have one more admissions deadline. We've had 2 rounds so far. April 5th is the deadline for round 3. We will probably have a professional courtesy extension beyond that. But if you'd like to have your answer sooner rather than later, then you'd want to submit by April 5th. After you submit, you get a link to sign up for your Super Saturday online interview, which is a 30-minute face-to-face with a current or an alumni volunteer. That day will be April 16, and we will get decisions probably by early June, but no later than June 24th. And there's still plenty of time to apply this year. We get the majority of our applications in round 3. Okay, so I have been talking a lot. I want to pause for a second. Just in the chat, let me get a sense of who's here tonight. Do you think that you want to enhance the career you already have? So you're at Google, you're at Boeing, you're doing great, you just want to go faster at Google or Boeing. We call that enhancing. That's where you keep the same employer, but you open up opportunities there. So just throw it in the chat if that pertains to you. Switching is more what we have, more typically what people in our full-time MBA program do, where they want to make a hard right pivot, hard left turn. They want to try something brand new. Exploring is maybe I want to stay at Google or Boeing, or maybe I want to switch, and I'm open. And then the fourth category is entrepreneurship / family business. And that's usually less than 10%, but it's a powerful less than 10%, because our entrepreneurs and the people who are going to inherit family businesses later on in life tend to be really, really some of the really proactive people, because you have to have a high risk tolerance to think about entrepreneurship. And some people are going to work for a company for 20 years, knowing that at the end of that time, they will have trained themselves in a modern company, but they're going to inherit a family business. So let me see what I got here. All right, enhance. Okay, well, I asked that first. That makes sense. Somebody sent me, I love your podcast. Thank you. Thank you for listening there. I don't check the chat during this because I'm talking so much. Enhance, switching. Enhance, switching and exploring, switching. Between enhancing and switching, exploring, switching and exploring. Okay, switching and entrepreneurship, family business. Okay, great. Thank you. That just gives me a sense. And that's a pretty typical ratio, I guess you could say, for us. So moving ahead, and we help with all of that. We help no matter which of those buckets you're in, doesn't matter. And you can change categories. You can be for sure that you're going to stay with Google the whole time you're here, and you're going to be an enhancer, and then you get the entrepreneurship bug. That happens all the time, and it's great when it happens. So you want to have something to aim at, and I'm going to talk about tonight. Trajectory is more important than where you ever are, because life it goes up and down, and sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. But when you aim higher, that always is a good thing. But you can change your aim while you're here. And our job is to overload your schedule with too much good stuff, too many good choices, and to make you actually have to go through the difficult thing of, gosh, do I want to go hear that speaker or that speaker? Do I want to participate in this club or that club? We have over 50 clubs. We have professional clubs, common background clubs, identity clubs, purely social clubs, over 50 different ways to get involved. And you can't do it all. There's too much good stuff. So maybe I'll be in one professional club, one kind of common background club, and then one totally social club, right? There's wine and cheese, there's eating, there's a public speaking club, there's all kinds of affinity groups, women, all different backgrounds, geographic, ethnic, everything. We have ways for you to find people who have interests that you already have in common, or ways for you to explore interests that you're interested in, but you don't know how to even get started. I'd like to learn about real estate. I'd like to learn about finance. I'd like to learn about entrepreneurship. The Entrepreneurs Club is one of the biggest at Anderson. So, FEMBA Transforms Careers. I told you that's the name of tonight. FEMBA Transforms Careers. 3 years ago, for the first time ever, with the 2019 grads, our career team, Susan, Pam, Jackie, the whole team, they manually reached out until they got to a 75% response rate. And they asked people, where are you? The goal was to get up to 75% responses 4 months after graduation. So we graduated in June, so this is roughly October. How is your salary, your starting salary, and your salary now? And usually within FEMBA, our starting salary for an average FEMBA class is between about $95,000 and $105,000. Some people less, some people more. But that's kind of where our students are. Our average student's usually about 30 years old. So stereotypically, a FEMBA student has been out of school for 6 to 8 years. Our sweet spot is really between about 27 and 33. Some people are younger and some people are much older. There's no upper limit on age. And we've had people as young as 24. Typically, we're looking for at least 2 years of work experience. So you can kind of think where your salary might be when you hit about 30, about 8 years post-undergrad, and 3 years and 4 months later, plus 49%. And we had never asked this before. We'd always had kind of an internal survey that suggested maybe 25 to 30%, which we thought was great. So in 2019, we got this data point and we were a little bit surprised. It was a bigger number than we were used to. And we said, well, let's not even talk about it too much. Let's wait a year. So we waited a year. And in 2020, we really didn't know what to expect because of COVID. It was plus 55%. So now we started to get a little bit curious. Well, what are we going to get in 2021? Maybe now we'll get the COVID effect. This year, higher, lower, higher, lower, higher, lower. What do you guess? It was higher. October of 2021, we actually had 81% people responding. Of those folks, the salary was a plus 62%. So I don't know about you and your career, but for me, I'm not going to get a 49, 55, or 62% salary bump in the next 3 years unless I radically reinvent myself. And that's what FEMBA is. It is a chance to radically reinvent yourself. Those 3 pillars, think fearlessly, share success, drive change. We're going to transform your head. We're going to make you smarter. We're going to give you critical frameworks to analyze the complexity of a modern business situation. We're going to give you a voice. We're going to give you the ability to have your voice come out of your mouth in a coherent, cogent manner where people say, I like what she's talking about. And you'll get the green lights and the funding and the budgeting and the staffing, the line of credit, whatever you need to take your dreams and make them real in the world. Okay, well, that's good. And then we're going to give you this network, this share success. We are a handshakes to hugs environment. You start the program year 1, it's all professional handshakes. When you get to graduation, everybody's hugging and bawling and crying, and you've built lifelong friends. And then finally, head, heart, gut. The 3rd pillar is drive change. And somewhere in the journey of kicking the tires and checking out UCLA and checking out Pepperdine and checking out USC, checking out full-time, checking out executive, checking out law school, public health, theater, film, and television. There's 125 graduate programs at UCLA. Through all of that sifting, I think I want an MBA. I think I want to keep my job. I think I want to aim at UCLA Anderson. Oh my God, I got admitted. Oh my God, I'm paying the $2,000 deposit. Oh my God, it's orientation. Oh, here I go through the fall quarter and the spring quarter. And oh my goodness, I've finished the first year. Somewhere it's different for everybody, but through that transformative journey, the 3rd pillar kicks in and you will have this X factor confidence arise in you. And you'll start to look people in the eye at work. You'll start to use much different vocabulary in a much more powerful, compelling manner. The faculty will start to speak out of your voice. Your classmates will be introducing you to all kinds of opportunity, and you will just stand a little taller. And that is part of what happens if you earn an MBA from a top-tier school. You're smarter, you're better networked, much better networked, and then somewhere you get that confidence. I'm thinking fearlessly, I'm sharing success, I'm driving change. So that's what happens. So I know I've been talking your ear off. It's 6:33, okay? So I'm going to do a little, where are they now? I'm going to show you a video in just a second, but let me set it up first. So this video was made during the program by a bunch of members of the class of 2014. And Anastasia, Melissa, Ryan, Tim, Qua, Diana, Dania, Linda, and Rose, plus a couple others that aren't on this list. So I'm going to show you this video. It's called The Most Interesting MBA in the World. It's silly. It's 1 minute long. And then I'm going to tell you where are they now. Because not only do you transform your career during the 3 years, these folks are now, they're 10 years from where you are, right? They've already gone through the program, got that first bump, but then we're going to show you their titles, like where are they in their careers now, okay? And I think you're going to start to really see like, oh, I'm starting to get how this thing can transform my career. I would take the classes, I would meet the people and expand my network, and then I would get the confidence to get a much bigger accountability, much bigger responsibility at work than I had before I earned my MBA. Okay, so let me see if I can handle this real quick. This is where I get a little bit lost. I want to stop sharing this, and I want to share the other one. All right, so hopefully I got the sound set, so this should work. And again, this is 60 seconds.
Cats climb trees just to be rescued by him. Goals orient towards him. He once donated blood to save the life of the party.
Это не сработает, я не понимаю, о чем ты говоришь.
이것은 거래가 안 되겠군요.
We need to have a better plan.
可以，
И твой босс тоже не понимает, что он делает.
一定不对的。
He's the language of business.
Deal.
He is the most interesting MBA in the world.
Never considered an MBA, but when I did, I preferred UCLA Anderson. Stay educated, my friends.
All right. Clap, 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 clap. All right. So I hope you enjoyed that. Obviously, a spoof on a famous beer commercial. And I'll jump back over to the deck real quick here. Polished by Diamonds Production. So Anastasia Ali, she'll be the last person I introduce. They named their production company Polished by Diamonds because of a metaphor I like to share about what we look for in admissions when we admit you to UCLA Anderson. And what we look for is your spark. We assume every single person who trusts us with graduate school is a diamond in the rough, and they want to polish and they want to shine such that their career really, as our former Dean Judy Olian said, that their career is a life of significance. That was Dean Olian's, one of her mantras was, I want us to graduate people who lead lives of significance. So when we put you in a Anderson classroom, you're going to be surrounded by people who are just as brilliant as you, but from very diverse and different industries, different backgrounds, different nationalities, different points of view. And you're going to raise your hand when the faculty calls on you, and you're going to have a brilliant answer. And then he's going to say, or she's going to say, that was awesome. Thank you, Dylan. Let me hear from Chris. And Chris is going to raise Chris's hand and answer from a different industry, a different starting point, a different point of view. And I benefit from Chris, and Chris benefits from me. And the only thing that can polish a diamond, because a diamond is the hardest occurring natural material in nature, the only thing strong enough to polish a diamond is tiny little pieces of diamond. Diamond polish is actually just tiny, tiny little micro fragments of diamonds, because that's the only thing that can make a diamond really sparkle, is something as hard as the diamond. And that's what we look for. When we read your essays, we're looking for what makes you sparkle, what makes your eyes light up, what makes you excited, crazy enough to go to grad school, to spend over 6 figures, over 2.5 to 3 years, 15 to 25 hours a week, plus or minus, while you maintain a job, while you maintain your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other. Many people have children, all of that, older parents. People have big, complicated lives, and they trust UCLA. It's a big ask, and it's a game for people who really do want to lead a life of significance. They want to be bigger than they know how to be without investing in themselves in graduate school. So, where if I get this to advance? So this is one way to show it. Look at the titles on the far right. So Anastasia is a VP at Disney. Melissa is a business manager at Dole. Ryan is a director at PayPal. Timothy is at Google. Kwa is at Salesforce. Diana has her own fitness company. She was actually an executive MBA. Dania Shaheen Gooderson is at Bain. Linda's at American Express. Ksenia created her own company. She founded her own company called UNest, which does investing in women-owned entrepreneurs. Rose is at Google. Bryce is at Wilshire. Jennifer's at Iovance. So here's Melissa, business manager at Dole. Here is Sagar, director of innovative therapy development at Abbott. He's the bouncer. Here's Ksenia, the blonde person on the left. Diana is the person in the middle with the brunette with the black vest, and then Jennifer is the person to the right. So you can see where they are at UNest and Powerhouse Fitness and Iovance Biotherapeutics. Bryce here on the left is now an assistant vice president at Wilshire Associates. Linda is a senior manager, product management at American Express. And then Kwa on the left is the guitar player. Rose, he's at Salesforce. Rose, next to him, is at Google. Ryan is an HR business partner and director at PayPal. And then Dania on the far right is a data venture development officer at Bain & Company. And if I just highlight the last name of Ryan and the last name of Dania, you see how they both have the last name Gooderson. Coincidence, you ask? No. They are one of our FEMBA success stories. So they met and fell in love and got married here at UCLA Anderson. So this is not a matchmaking service, but 2/3 of our students are single when they walk in the door. So it's not a bad thing to hang out with lots of high aspiration people who are available. So anyway, that's we love to point out that because that does happen, and it happens more than a couple of times per class. People actually fall in love and get married, start their lives together. It's an incredible opportunity to hang out at UCLA. And there's also the rest of UCLA, 125 different graduate programs of study. So you can join the gym for a very modest fee. The John Wooden Center is an incredibly modern gym. You can take classes, you can work out after class, before class, and you'll meet lawyers, you'll meet medical doctors, you'll meet people from 125 different graduate programs, plus the most selective undergraduate student body in the world. UCLA has been the most applied to U.S. undergraduate student body for like a decade. They get over 100,000 applications each year for, I don't know, Chris, how many seats? Like 5,000 or 6,000, something like that. So, and then lastly here, Anastasia Ali, I saved the best for last. You don't see Anastasia in the video just now because she was the director and producer of the video, but she just made vice president marketing at Disney last year. So this is how FEMBA transforms people's careers. You come here, you play full out, you meet all these fun people, you do goofy things like have a video challenge. And this was a challenge I used to run. I don't do it anymore. But the idea was if you had 1 minute at the Super Bowl and you could say anything you wanted to say about Anderson, what would you say? And that's what their team said. They made that video. So you do that, you ride the ride, and a decade from right now, 3 years of the program, 7 years of your career, you've got director, vice president, you've got titles like that, or you've started your own thing. So Anderson is a big investment. You know, the input is time, money, and effort. The output is the 3 pillars: your education, your network, and your experience and confidence, right? So why should you make this big investment in you, right? Let's write in the chat. I know I'm just killing you with all these words. Give me some answers in the chat. Why should you invest in you? Why not just work hard and wait for your boss to notice your hard work? Why should you think about an MBA as a possible way to transform the trajectory of your career? Better opportunity. Set the highest trajectory. Who else? Why not just work hard and hope you get noticed? Have you ever tried that in your career? Transitioning from smaller companies to larger organizations to tap into highest potential, maximize my potentials and opportunities, gain skills for better positions. Excellent, excellent. I'll just, you can keep throwing them out there. I'll keep going. But, it's a big ask to get an MBA. And, it's worth talking to your mentors about. Should I do this? Is this the right thing to do? Talk to your parents, talk to your brother, talk to your sister, talk to the people you trust as you are working your way through this journey. But I'm going to suggest that if you're here tonight, you're already successful, right? Nobody comes to a Zoom webinar after work hours on a Tuesday night unless they're curious, right? People who are bored, they're not here tonight, right? They're watching the Olympics, they're doing something else. If you're here tonight, you're already educated, you're already engaged in the economy, you're already figuring out that, I got this job and I worked hard to get it, maybe I don't want to get rid of it, and I need to shake up my snow globe, right? I need to take my snow globe. I need to shake it up. I need something. I don't want to always do what I'm doing now. What could I do to transform what's going on? What if I looked at an MBA? What if I looked at an MBA at UCLA? So this is how I envision you all here tonight, right? This is decades. This is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, right? 60 years. Oh, what's this guy talking about? I'm only 27. What's he talking about? 60 years. 60 years, I'll be 87. Yeah, it's true. Good math. And we live in an age with the advances in modern medicine, where if you take care of yourself, your body may last 110, 120. You may still be very productive 60 years from now. And my assumption is that's your trajectory. No UCLA, you're going to be fine. If you're here tonight, you don't have to get an MBA. But maybe you want an MBA. And get ready for my very, very fancy graph. I paid thousands of dollars for these graphics you're about to see. So stare at the screen now. That's you with no MBA. And now, yes. All right? This is what I'm talking about. Trajectory beats position. So let me review. We're going back a slide. No MBA. Yes, MBA. Right? We're going to take an already upward trajectory and we're going to make the slope of your graph higher. We're going to give you something higher to aim at. I never even thought about being an entrepreneur. I never even thought about it until I went to UCLA Anderson. And now, oh my goodness, right? Or I never thought about going beyond maybe manager, maybe director, but now I can really see myself. I could be, and I will be, a C-suite executive over the next decade or two of my career, and then for the rest of my career after that. So I'm going to say trajectory beats position. Because see the little squiggles? Some years you go down, some years you go up. It's generally an upward trend, but some years it's down. Well, don't stay down. Some years it's up. Well, don't assume it's always up. But if you can raise the trajectory, if you can aim higher over the course of a career, the compounding of that, that's what we're talking about. You know, plus 49, plus 55, plus 62% salary in the next 3 years. Great. There's no promise of that, but 75% people responding for the last 3 years, that's what they're happening, right? They're shaking up their snow globe. They're meeting new people, meeting new faculty, meeting new opportunities, and they're opening up horizons. So better than ROI, better than return on investment, give yourself a new trajectory. Okay, so we're going to drill down a little bit more, but let me just take a quick couple of slides to answer the question of should I do FEMBA? So some people are like, well, maybe I should do the executive MBA. Executive MBA is great. Same faculty, same diploma, keep your job. It's shorter, more expensive. People are about 38 on average, so it's a stair step further. But the young executive MBAs and the older half of FEMBAs are the very same people demographically. They just choose the programs they want. If you want FEMBA, FEMBA gives you more time to discover yourself. It gives you that second half of you get more electives and you get 2.5 to 3 years instead of 21 months. You save about $40,000. The executive MBA program is great. Go to their website, talk to their team. They're all wonderful. Shannon and Sarika and Christina, just an incredible team. Or some of you are on the other end of the spectrum. Well, maybe I just want to quit and be a full-time grad student. I've heard that it's more immersive if you quit. Right? I did Chicago. I was a full-time student at Chicago. I was the second youngest of 550 kids. And I felt like everybody's shorter little brother the entire time that I was there. It transformed my career. It was wonderful, but it was intimidating. It was very intimidating. Glad I did it. But of those 550 people, all 550 people had a job they were willing to quit. And you don't think about that. It's like, well, of course you quit. You're going to go to grad school. But in FEMBA, you'll start to notice like, oh my gosh, all these people still have a job. All these people can hire me. I could hire all these people. There are open positions at all these different companies. I didn't even know that company existed over there. All of that is happening while you're going through. And you're getting inspired by the faculty. And you're getting inspired by the alumni network. And you're hearing stories of pathways that you just never even imagined, because the world is a very big and complicated place and you need a trusted partner to help curate through all the noise and map a pathway that's going to be exciting for you. And our goal is to raise that trajectory. So here's how you decide if you like FEMBA, right? Do you like your job? Yes or no? Or at least can you tolerate it? Do you like your boss? Yes or no? Or at least can you tolerate it? Do you like real-time results? Do you have a bias for action? Would it be fun to take a class on Tuesday night and do something with your education Wednesday morning? Or take a class on Saturday and apply what you learned on Monday? If you think that would be fun, we are for you. do you want an MBA? Do you want a UCLA MBA? So really there's about 5 questions embedded in there. My rough idea is if 3 of those 5 are yes, or even 4 or 5 of those are yes, then that's why we're here for you. That's what FEMBA is all about. For people who have a job that's worth keeping, who have a boss that's worth working for, who like to see their education, they like to learn it and practice it almost immediately, like the next day. They want an MBA, and they want an MBA from UCLA. Because we have the same faculty, same diploma, same alumni network, whether you are executive, fully employed, or full-time MBA. It's 3 different pathways to the same mountaintop. That is the UCLA Anderson Master of Business Administration. So if 3 of those or more are trending yes, then you're in the right ballpark, okay? Because we are a pathway to earn the UCLA Anderson diploma from the UCLA Anderson faculty on the UCLA Anderson campus while you keep earning. That's what we are about. And you get an identity for the next 2.5 or 3 years that is second to none. In addition to what you do for a living, you now have something so interesting to talk about at cocktail parties. You have an identity that is appreciated, respected, and valued in the entire world of business. I'm getting an MBA. You're getting an MBA. I'm going to grad school. I thought you were still working. I am still working. I'm in the fully employed MBA program at UCLA. You're going to Anderson? I'm going to Anderson. Wow. It's a big deal. You get an identity that your parents will respect, your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend will respect, your friends will respect, your colleagues at work will respect, your boss will respect. You carve out a 2.5 to 3 year window where you get to consciously reinvent your career and raise that trajectory even higher. That is a killer way to spend your time and money. That is what's worth it. You get to become something that mostly people don't know how to become without some mentorship, without some guidance, without some guardrails, some curation. The faculty, the staff, and your classmates, the alumni network, and the friends of Anderson, all of us are about you winning. You becoming your own upstanding member of the UCLA Anderson Alumni Network, 41,000 and counting and growing every year, right? Part of the 540,000 UCLA Alumni Network. So you get to say, so you can practice this now. Say it to yourself. I'm a grad student at UCLA. I'm getting my MBA at UCLA Anderson. You get to say that. And that makes a difference because you say it and then you become it and it becomes part of you. All right, again, I love Judy Olean, our prior dean. She said, and she herself was divorced, so she said this with much love, but she said, we're stronger than a marriage because you can get divorced, but we're going to be on your resume forever. She was a great dean. She's now the president of Quinnipiac University up in the Northeast. So 540,000 UCLA alumni, a global network. 7,000 of those 540 are FEMBA grads. 41,000 of those 540,000 are UCLA grads. UCLA is the 5th largest alumni network of all the American schools, one of the most recognized brands around the world. Those are our pillars. I've talked about them a lot. Think fearlessly, share success, drive change. We're going to transform your gray matter. We're going to transform your network, your heart. We're going to teach you how to meet people and work a room and build your network for the rest of your career. And we're going to give you the confidence to raise your hand and say, hey, world, I've got a plan. Let me pitch because I'd like a green light to go forward. So again, we share success. We take handshakes. We turn them into hugs. We think fearlessly. We learn to peer around corners. We give you the ability to speak and be heard such that people want to give you time and money and resources and green lights. And we will give you confidence. That's what we do. You give us $43,000 a year for 3 years. 43 will transform your brain. 43 will give you the world's best professional network. And 43 will give you this X Factor confidence so that you can do those 3 things. It's a 1,000-day journey, roughly, starting tonight. Let's start grad school tonight. Right? Well, I'm not admitted yet. That's okay. You're here. When does your vacation to Paris begin? Does it begin when you land in Paris? Nope. It began when you bought your plane tickets to Paris. Tonight can be like that. Tonight can be a pivot. That crazy guy who talked a mile a minute and never, ever, ever gave us a chance to ask a question until the very end, that crazy Texan who now lives in California and loves raising his kids in Culver City, who's living a life of his dreams, he's talking about my dreams. What am I going to do with my one and only wild and precious life? Wow. If I got incrementally better every day for 3 years, for 1,000 days, what might my life look like? Right? 0.1% better a day for 1,000 days, you're 100% better. And that doesn't count compounding. And this place compounds. It's slow and steady, and you will have stair steps along the way. That's what I hear about in those podcasts again and again and again. If you want to hear Derek is going to speak Friday at noon. It's going to be a live Zoom, and you'll hear about a faculty member who helped Derek get an interview with his former team. His last team when he played professionally was the Chargers, and one of his marketing brand management, Professor Pollock, helped him get an interview to work for the Chargers. He didn't get that job. They went with somebody senior, but then they nominated him for this killer job that he's now doing at the headquarters of the NFL back in New York, right? Total stair step, not a linear outcome, stair step. No way he could get there from here without investing in his MBA. All right, so what do we got? How am I going backwards? Okay, here we go. So when's the best time to look for a job? All right, let's put it in the chat. When is the best time to look for a job? Well, now, always. Good, Mark. Good, Rivka. Vinny, yesterday, when you already have a job. Henry, ding, 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 ding. The best time to look for a job, and those are some other good answers, whenever, all the time. The best time to look for a job is while you have a job, because you're in the driver's seat, right? I don't know about when you feel comfortable. Some of the best jobs I've ever gotten were when I felt very uncomfortable because they were really challenging me. But I like that, Angie, because when you feel comfortable, there's something about that sweet spot. Like you want to be awake, but you also want to be calm. And the beauty of looking for a job while you have a job, so I think you're actually right, Angie, you are comfortable. And that lends to confidence. And the way it happens around here is your classmates are going to help you find jobs, because FEMBAs all begin with a job that is too good to quit. And that doesn't mean they can't quit, but they don't want to quit. I worked hard to get here. I want to keep going at this. So FEMBAs hire each other. This is just a partial list. And again, average class between 250, 300 students start the program every year. Over 30 different countries of birth. So we have global diversity in terms of where people started life. But we'll also, in a class of 250 to 300, have over 200 different employers. So these are some of the name brands, but most of your classmates will work for a company that you've never heard of. And they will expose you and you will introduce them to all parts of the California economy that are going and blowing up and amazing, and you just have never even heard of it yet. And if you think about your company over the next 3 years, what are the chances that there might be some hiring happening, right? Even for companies who are struggling right now, 3 years is a long time. There will be moments at your company, and there will be moments at the employers left and right of you as you sit in class. Hey, Dylan, let me have your resume. Oh, no, I'm not looking. I'm so happy at Google. I know, Google's great, but why don't you just meet with this HR director? She's really great. We're doing some really progressive stuff. We've got a really cool MBA rotation program. I think it'd be killer for you. And I get $500 finder fee just for introducing you to the HR director. Do me a solid, and I'll split the money with you. It can be as simple as that. And now I'm going back to Angie's point. You're in the driver's seat. You're comfortable because you get to say to the HR director, hey, I really respect Chris, and he told me about this MBA leadership rotation you have. I just don't want to set any false expectations. I've been at Google for about 4 years. I've got a great upline. There's really great stuff happening. So I'm not actively in the market, but I like to keep an open mind. You've now put that HR director on notice. She now has to bring her A game, and she has to woo you And maybe it'll be something that would be worth leaving a great gig that you've already built. Maybe not. But that's the answer to the question, when's the best time to look for the job? The best time to look for a job is while you have a job. And FEMBA, it's built in, it's baked in, it's happening all around you. This is my, you can take a picture of this URL or just Google Brian Thomas UCLA drive time. He's my unicorn. He's my most financially successful, and there may be others, but he's the one I know the best of the 34 years of FEMBA. He launched a company called Clutter while he was here at UCLA in FEMBA. His classmates thought it was a bad idea, but Jeff Shinerock, who runs the Capstone, he runs both the Global Access Program and the Business Creation Option. When Professor Shinerock heard Brian's idea, Professor Shinerock said, it's a long shot. And you'll hear him talk on the podcast. Brian said, that's all I needed. I just needed one person to tell me at least it was possible. And by the time this picture was taken, he and his co-founder there, Brian is the guy behind the door, and his co-founder is the guy standing on the hood. They were up to their third round of financing. They'd received over $100 million in startup financing. Every time they opened up a new city, they would hire 2 MBAs, a director of operations and a director of marketing. And it all got created while he was here at UCLA Anderson. So, that's an entrepreneur hiring FEMBAs. Usually it's people who work for Google or Boeing or whomever hiring each other. But that's part of how this transforms your careers, is you put yourself in a room full of people who each of their worlds are full of opportunities, and their opportunities overlap with your opportunities, and the opportunity set for the entire class is bigger than any of the individuals discretely could ever be. So that's about sharing success. Driving change is about the confidence. I love this slide. This is the class of 2018. This is a picture from a couple years ago. We survey alumni and we ask them, what do you miss most? And without fail, what they miss most after they graduate, they don't miss the commute, they don't miss the tests, they miss each other. They miss having a band of brothers and sisters. They miss hearing about each other's lives and each other's careers. Remember I said handshakes turn into hugs. By the time you graduate, look how happy they are in this picture, right? Every year at commencement, it looks the same way. And that's how you drive change. You surround yourself with the confidence of your classmates, and they benefit your confidence and you benefit their confidence, and you go out into life and you do things that you would have never dreamed you could do. That's what happens. That's how this thing works. And then lastly, thinking fearlessly, right? It's not all about the money. That's actually the least interesting part to me, except it's okay to make a salary, right? I'm putting my kid through Loyola High School right now. He's no longer in Culver City, although my younger boy is. And it's expensive to send a young student to that school. And so it's okay to make a living. That's, capitalism. It's all about, if you provide value, people will pay for your value. So think fearlessly, how to see around corners, how to say things differently, how to get yeses, right? That's the transforming the career salary. This one, we only have this data point once. Business Week did this. It's old data, and we only have it once. I wish someone would recreate it, but they have not recreated it yet. But they interviewed alumni 5 to 8 years after graduation, and their average salary bump was 137%. So that's, take your current salary, multiply it by 2.37. So that's more than doubling your salary 5 to 8 years after you complete the program. That's what graduates of UCLA Anderson said. And I like to cross-reference this data point from the class of 2015, or from an alumni survey in 2015, with the video that I showed, because Anastasia and all those folks in that video, they were all members of the class of 2014. And when you look at the titles you have now, you can get, if they were on average making 95 to 105,000, and now they've got those titles, VP, director, entrepreneur. Okay, I get it. Yeah, they're probably making 200, 240, 260, and they're 10 years after they started their MBA. Okay, yeah, I see. That's how FEMBA transforms careers. And that's the point of tonight. You know, this is simple. You can calculate it yourself, right? 2022, that's where we are now. If you choose to do this program, you'll be part of the class of 2025. You'll graduate 2.5 to 3 years from now. Your salary might go up 0.49, 0.55, 0.62. And then a decade from now, right, you could realistically set yourself on a trajectory to be making 2.37 what you make now, doubling your current salary, okay? And you never get there doing what you're doing now. You get there by resetting your trajectory, expanding your own thinking about what you're capable of, giving yourself the education, the network, and the confidence to go make stuff happen. So we're coming up to the end here. We'll leave some time for Q&A. Oh, okay, and I'm okay. I gave you these deadlines earlier. April 5th is the deadline to, no kidding, get a decision by early June. Save the date. The Super Saturday interview day is April 16. The application is straightforward. It takes about 45 minutes to fill out the biographical stuff. Order your transcripts from prior education if you have more than one degree, all your transcripts. If you went to junior college, we'd like to see that also if you're a junior college transfer. 2 essay questions. The first one is basically tell us about you. Second question is where do you want to go and how does UCLA help you get there? Up-to-date resume, single page is fine. If you have less than 10 years of work experience, if you have more than 10 years, it could be 2 pages. If you're a scientist or a medical doctor, we don't want your scientific resume. We want more of a 1 or 2 page summary. 2 letters of recommendation. Those are people who know you, respect you, trust you. Typically, it's your boss and your boss's boss, but that's just one way to do it. It could be one from your personal life, one from your professional life. If you have philanthropic interests or you're a big volunteer in a nonprofit, you could have one from that part of your life plus one from your sort of corporate life. If you're an entrepreneur, it could be your banker, your person who gave you your line of credit, your primary investors. It could be a client. If you are a family business person, it could be your mom or father. Moms typically write pretty tough essays. He's pretty good, but he doesn't listen very well. But that's okay, right? If you are in a family business. After you apply, you get the link for the interviews on April 16. The interviews are with a current or alumni student. They are weighted like a 3rd letter of rec, so it's a chance. They do not know your test score. They don't know your GPA. All they have is your resume, so it's a chance to walk through your resume. You get to ask them some questions at the end. We take the GMAT, we take the GRE, and we take the executive assessment if you have 8 years of work experience or more. Most people take the GMAT, that's 75%. 20% take the GRE, and maybe 5% take the executive assessment. We are agnostic. We'll take any of the 3. We take your single highest day, best test score. The waivers that we offer, we have 3 types of waivers. Medical doctors can earn a waiver. It's case by case. You email me your transcripts, or you upload your transcripts, start your application, then my team will let me review them. PhDs, same thing. And then we have a brand new program this year called the UCLA Bruin Bridge, and it's on our website. This is for UCLA undergrads only. We may expand it, but this year it's only for UCLA undergrads. If you hit certain GPA thresholds, depending on your major, then we can offer a GMAT waiver. But everybody else, GMAT, GRE, or executive assessment. So trajectory beats position, just to kind of wrap up, right? You'll have some up years, you'll have some down years, but as long as you're aiming high, your life is going to be great. Better than a return on investment. Give yourself a new trajectory. That's what we are all about. So let me stop with the slides. We have about 20 minutes for questions. And, oops, I went out of focus. Whee, come back. I don't know what's wrong with my camera. All right, well, I'll be blurry for a minute. And, or maybe that's because I don't have my glasses on. Chris, am I blurry? No, I am blurry. All right, camera. All right, well, I'll just be patient and it'll come back or it won't. But yeah, just turn on your video. I'd love to see you, get to meet you. And, if you have specific one-on-one questions, you want to take advantage of the office hours with myself or my team. But for tonight, I'm looking for questions that you can kind of anticipate. I bet a few other people would like to know the answer to that question also. And I would be happy to see if I can get myself back in focus here. And yeah, just take yourself off, let me see your face and raise your hand digitally, et cetera, while I work on getting my video back. I don't know what is going on. There we go. All right. And then let me answer some questions about anything we talked about tonight. Yeah, buts, what abouts, what ifs. Who would like to go first? Sorry, my fourth grader is loud in the other room. He may be, he's online talking to his friends. Can't do video. Okay, hi, Mark.
Hi.
Oh,
I
here
have
we
a
go.
question.
Hi. Is it
Sorry.
Mana or Mana?
It's Mana.
Mana. Very nice to meet you, Mana.
Yes.
Thanks for going first.
So nice to meet you. Thank you so much for such a helpful and very engaging session.
Pleasure.
So I don't know if this question might be helpful for other folks, but I think for me, I have 10 years of working experience, and I'm really kind of teetering in between whether or not to do fully employed or executive MBA. And I'm really just kind of trying to understand, what might be something that is really kind of only something you can get within FEMBA that really you wouldn't get in the EMBA program. Because to answer some of the questions that you had earlier, I love my job, I love my boss, and I have the full support of my team to be like pursuing this. And so I'm really just kind of trying to figure out like what is the best route.
Sure, and that's the kind of stuff that we can explore a little more in a one-on-one. So let me kind of say it at a high level, and you want to kick the tires to both programs, right? They are more common than different. The core curriculum is basically the same. So the first half, the blue boxes that I showed, those you're going to take data and decisions. You're going to take organizational behavior. You're going to take economics. You're going to take finance. You're going to take marketing. You're going to take accounting. You're going to take operations. You're going to take strategy. So you're going to be taught by the same faculty. You're going to earn the same diploma. You're always going to be a UCLA Anderson alum for the rest of your life. So there's more common than different. The big difference is the average age of FEMBA, 30, 31. So you're like 1 year older than the average age, probably. Okay, fine. The average age of the executive MBA is going to be 37, 38. FEMBA's typically, stereotypically, but the majority of FEMBAs are making 95 to 105 walking in the door. Executive MBAs are making 175 to 185 walking in the door. So fully employed MBA program students, half to 2/3 are at the end of the individual contributor chapter, right? So they are high potentials. They're making stuff happen, but they're just starting to hire people, fire people, actually run teams versus running projects, starting to have profit and loss accountabilities. The idea with the executive MBA program, at least 8 years is the floor. Everybody needs to have at least 8 years of experience, and they need to be hiring and firing people like that. So everybody's on the same upward trajectory. If you're a daytime student, the average age is 26. It's not that much younger than FEMBA, 26, 27. FEMBAs are one notch further than that. Executive MBAs are one notch further than that. So the populations overlap. And the older half of FEMBA and the younger half of executive MBA program, you wouldn't, if you looked in the classroom, you can't tell who's who. Okay?
Yep.
So, and the executive MBA program is quicker. It's done in 21 months. It's not quite as flexible. Like FEMBA, you can shorten it or you can stretch it. EMBA's really lovely because it's very predictable. We have this thing called the dot map, and you get this calendar, and it's like, this is when you'll be on campus for 21 months. It's very, very predictable. FEMBA is much more, in my observation, the second half of FEMBA is much more of a wild ride because you get twice as many electives in FEMBA. So you make a lot more decisions about what you want to focus on. And if you are, if you're a stereotypical EMBA and you just want to enhance an already established career, you don't need as many electives. FEMBAs are very often still fully in the what's out there mode. And the extra time and the extra electives allow for more discovery. FEMBA is also $40,000 or $50,000 cheaper. So if you're not making as much in your salary, you can get the same diploma with more electives at a cheaper price point. So, it's that thing about, I have 2 children. My mom and dad have 3 children. My wife is one of 5. If you have multiple children as a parent, you never compare your children to each other, right? Like, oh, here's my smart daughter, and here's my athletic son, and now here's Dylan. Like, so as faculty and staff of UCLA Anderson, we don't talk about the full-time program is better than the FEMBA program is better than the EMBA program. That's not how we think about it. We think about, we have 3 different programs that meet people where they are. I'm sorry, where's the accent?
Mana.
Mana, sorry.
Mana has good music though. It's a good band.
I know. Yeah, I love Mana. So my Spanish brain is confused. You're in that kind of window. Either could work. And either will achieve great things for you. And the beauty is when you talk to our alumni, you'll talk to FEMBA alumni, they'll say FEMBA's great. You talk to daytime alumni, they'll say full-time is the only way to go. And the same with executive MBA. So, kick the tires, go to their info session. Sarika, Christina, Shannon, they're all wonderful. You can also, when you apply, you can say, I'm open to the other, but we want you to kind of look and see which is better for you. And I would stereotypically, and there's always exceptions to the rule, but FEMBA is a wider, FEMBA just gives you a wider opportunity set. EMBA's this is a tough way to say it, and it's not exactly perfect. And their staff would say, Dylan, that's not what, you shouldn't have said it that way. But I'm doing my best. EMBA, because it's quicker, it's more focused, it's a little bit higher level, the conversation, because your classmates are at a higher level in their careers. Yeah. So it's less about learning how to run a regression. It's more about managing analysts who are going to bring you their regressions, right? So it's like, which one is going to be? Yeah. So the younger EMBAs, this is a long answer, but it's a great question. So you're getting lots of data here, and I'm hoping it's helpful for other people. The younger executive MBAs, they often want to hang out with people who are a stair step above them. And the older FEMBAs, they are like, you know what, I want to learn from the younger kids, right? Because all this Instagram, that's just not my world. So, it's like people, you'll be happy wherever you place yourself is the very long answer to your question.
Great. This is super helpful. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for going first and getting us started. All right. And I see Mark's question here while anybody else wants to turn on. Can't do video, but is there any difference in the networking opportunities between the full-time and FEMBA program? Great question, Mark. Yes. But it's not limiting. It's what you make of it. I was a full-time student in Chicago. When you're a full-time student, you have a lot of spare time on your hands. You join a lot of clubs, usually in 3 or 4, maybe 5 clubs. You're going to put those clubs in your resume. You're going to use that to help yourself get a job offer. So full-time students will say, oh, I wanted an immersive MBA, and I wanted to focus and I wanted to just be all the time MBA. And so that's our 21-month pathway, just like all the top 10 schools around the world. Great way to be a full-time graduate student. So supposedly networking. This is from my own personal observation. Thursday night at Chicago, we had class Monday through Thursday, Friday, no class. So we called it Brats and Brew. At Anderson, we call it Anderson afternoon, but it was the Thursday afternoon happy hour with food and beverage and networking. Well, the first couple hours is networking. But then it's like, hey, do you have class tomorrow? Nope, me neither. Okay, well, let's go out, right? When you're a full-time student, you go out. And we always went out. In Chicago, they call it pub crawling. It's super fun, right? Because you can go to like 10 bars and not have to drive anywhere. But is it really networking? There was a lot of it, but was it actually networking, or was it kind of undergrad 2.0? My experience in Chicago was that a lot of what I observed was undergrad 2.0. Maybe on campus when the faculty are there and you're flipping a brat, maybe there was some networking, but after that it was just carousing in Chicago and none of us had class on Friday. So there's a quantity-quality reality. FEMBAs do not have the quantity of time disposable that you have when you don't have. FEMBAs all have a job. So FEMBA's network, but it's quick and tight. They just don't have, it's just different. And it goes back to that thing. I had 550 classmates at Chicago. I had 550 unemployed classmates at Chicago. which is more valuable, 550 unemployed classmates or 250 to 300 employed classmates? So it's always going to be marked. This is a fancy answer to say it's what you make of it, right?
Yeah, Dylan, thank you so much. Apologies that I can't turn my video on. I'm actually in the Rockies right now, so my internet connection isn't great. But the reason I was asking, as my sister actually did the full-time MBA
Great.
program at
Great.
Innocent, and how that was so important for her professional development.
Excellent.
And it's kind of what you talked about before, how it was like almost undergrad 2.0, actually very seems very resonant to what she's described it. So I appreciate the information you've provided. I do have a second question.
Sure.
I'm looking to switching career paths. I currently work in comm/public affairs in the infrastructure/public workspace, and I want to transition to like real estate and sustainable development. Is it common for FEMBA students to switch their trajectories during the program itself, or is that typically after they finish the program?
That's 100% common. And it's rough, but probably 40% of FEMBAs want to enhance the career they already have. Probably 30% want to switch to something new. And then about 10% are entrepreneurs and family business. And then the rest are this kind of squishy explorer category. But you can use FEMBA to do a pivot. You can do an internship during FEMBA just like you do in the full-time program. You do it the summer after your second year, not the summer after your first year. But you can participate in on-campus recruiting for both internship and full-time placement. Well, we never use the word placement, but full-time hires out of FEMBA the same way you can in the full-time program. It's just that FEMBA, by design, you start the program with a job. That's why we exist. And not some kind of job you don't like, but a job that's worth doing. That's what FEMBA is designed to offer for people. And you can use it to switch the way your sister would have gone to a full-time program, done an internship very often in something brand new, reinvented her career such that she was doing something she didn't know how to do before she got her MBA. That's the typical full-time expectation. And FEMBAs can pursue that just as successfully. FEMBAs are very, very competitive in on-campus recruiting, very often more highly represented, as even though there'll be a smaller number of FEMBAs, the proportion of the FEMBA population that chooses to do on-campus recruiting is only ever going to be maybe 20%. But pound for pound, they get great offers, right? And everybody wins because the way we recruit over 100 wonderful companies to come to campus every year, to come to campus virtually right now, is to have a great showing of high talent human beings, because a company can't go to every school, so they have to pick and choose. And Anderson is known for top academics, go-getter, open-minded, California, techno-savvy, all the things that kind of are requisite to be successful in the economy here. So short question, long answer, but thanks, Mark. Thank you, Sandy. Yeah, that's why I love to do the questions out loud, because very often your question will trigger somebody else's. Henry, did you have a question?
Yeah, hi Dylan.
Hi.
So I'm not actually applying even in this round. I'm currently in grad school, so I have to wait to finish this degree to go for the next one.
Sure.
Try to plan ahead a little bit.
I got it. I love it.
So I loved hearing about the customization of the FEMBA program, like after the core classes. Just out of curiosity, what availability is there in terms of like,
Oh my God, excuse me. Excuse me, so sorry. YouTube is going crazy on me. I was going to get my link to place here. I apologize, Henry. That was me not being able to. This is my Calendly for everybody. I promised the link. So apologize for the interruption. Tell me again.
No problem. Just on the topic of like the ability to customize so much of the program, how, like in terms of availability, how much, or I guess how much availability is there to sort of focus on a more like tech focused data science kind of path in FEMBA?
Well, again, you have full discretion over 9 of the 11 courses required for the degree. 2 of those 9 can be even taken outside of Anderson. So you could actually take cross-campus electives as long as you meet their entrance requirements. We have about 15 specializations. Our specializations are going to sound like business school specialization. So it's going to be business first with a heavy dose of tech versus the way if you're in a computer science degree, it would be, the ratio would be reversed. It's computer science first with a little smattering of business principles. So you have the ability to customize the second half of your degree either through formal specializations or through your kind of choosing electives that really resonate for what you think you want to do with your career. And the beauty of the first year with all the blue courses that were on the schedule, I can go back to that slide. But the beauty of all of that is that you get a whole year to figure out what you might want before you have to make that decision. So I'll just go back to the curriculum screen and just share it real quick. Oh, no, I won't. Oh, I got too many slides open here. I want this one. Oh, never mind. Oh my God, it's ridiculous how many windows I have open here. All right, is that? That's what I wanted right here. So just scooting all the way back up here real quick. I should put this slide at the bottom. Sorry. I have animation, it takes forever. So here we go. So back, Henry, so the blue courses, right? You have fall, winter, spring before you ever have to make your first elective choice. So you have a lot of time to do your due diligence to discover what you think would be the pathway that you would want to follow. And then you would use those 9 elective choices to focus on whatever you want to focus on from both the Anderson School and the complementary 125 different graduate programs of study across the campus overall. What is it that you're studying now?
I'm getting a master's in analytics and I also work. So I'm already doing the FEMBA thing, basically, just not MBA.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, great. Great. Well, you may be a little tired when you get done. You may want to give yourself a couple years to just enjoy, but it's whatever you want to do, we're going to be here whenever whenever you get to that decision point. And it's great to do your due diligence now because our program, we're always improving incrementally, but the heart of it stays the same year in and year out.
Great. Thanks, Dylan.
Thank you. Megan, I saw you for a minute. Did you have a question I could answer? She may have had to step away. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi. Yeah, I appreciate it, Dylan. One of the questions that I wanted to ask is, are there a lot of management consultants that work specifically during doing project work during the full-time, fully employed MBA?
Well, like the one I spoke to on the slide from last summer, the Sharing Success. Oh my gosh, what's his? I got too many names in my brain. Let me get his name. Oh, James Fang. If you listen to he was with either Accenture or PwC. He went to Syracuse undergrad. He's first generation. His parents are from China. He spent his first 8 years after undergrad in consulting. It brought him to California. And more often in an MBA cohort, people are getting into consulting, right? The other people I showed, Maxine, who was a professional dancer, she's now with Deloitte, and Ben, who was a professional actor, is now with BCG. So the more traditional pathway is into management consulting. James was an example of someone who'd, done that for 8 years. Now I want to do something else. And so he's now in health tech with Flatiron. But when you say a lot, that there's because like Dean Olian used to talk about 90% of people who work in LA County, we're the 11th largest state in the nation. There's over 10 million people in this county. We're bigger than 40 of the 50 states, just LA County. 90% of employment within LA County is employment with a firm with fewer than 100 employees. It's just, we are a small and medium-sized business economy. We're not a Fortune 500 economy. So when you ask, is there a lot? We don't have a lot of anything. We have a lot of everything, if that makes sense, right? So there are some management consultants, but it's by no means like 1 out of 3 people or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely answers my question. Thanks.
Yeah, hope that's helpful. We look like Southern California. It's this incredible mash up of people from all over the world, media, technology, nanotech, Silicon Beach, real estate, entertainment. We look like the Southern California economy, which is this, everybody's got to have 3 different jobs to make it work here.
Exactly.
So, oh my God. Okay. So it's 7:31. So we're a minute over. Why don't we will officially pause. Let me share screen. Just end with, I'd love to see you again. Friday, I'll be interviewing Derek Cox this Friday at noon. If you go to that link there, UCLA Anderson Live Guide. The week after that, I'm interviewing Steven Johnson. He just graduated also last year's class. He's the father of 4. He's an entrepreneur and created a business that does tutoring for inner city kids. He wrote a book during FEMBA. He grew up in South Central and is a real create your own life kind of person. He's fascinating and fabulous. Week after that, we have Sarah Anderson. In March, we kind of start to honor Women's History Month. We're honoring Black History Month in February. Sarah Anderson is a preacher's kid just like me, and she is our current FEMBA student body president. She's amazing. And then the week after that, Haley Ehrlich will be speaking. Haley has a brand new job with the National Basketball Association that she got when she went to an alumni speaker event. So the same link will put you into all 4 of these events, the live guide link. And I just appreciate your attention tonight. Like I said, I'll stay for another 15, 20 minutes and answer questions one-on-one. Chris took roll tonight. Thanks for putting your names in the windows. We will send you a follow-up that's got links to some of the drive times. But basically, just Google UCLA drive time, and you will find the interviews. Go to our website. A lot of them are flagged. And I hope you enjoy those stories. Sagar, I think, texted me that he's listened to a lot of them. I have a tremendous amount of joy and fulfillment talking to people what it's like during school and what they open up afterwards. So Ryan and Dania getting married, people starting companies, Brian with his $100 million clutter. We've had Olympic gold medalists. We have medical doctors, lawyers. It's UCLA. We are a magnet, and we attract the most talented people from around the world because it's an incredible education in beautiful Los Angeles. We're going to host the Olympics here in 2028, the Super Bowl on Sunday. It's fun. If you're calling in from Colorado, right, it's fun to be in SoCal. If you're already here, you know that. And don't be intimidated by UCLA. It's a whole lot easier to get admitted to graduate school than it was to apply for undergrad. I know 9 out of 10 people in undergrad don't get a slot. If you are hardworking and intelligent and you want to transform your career, give us an application. Give us a chance to say yes, okay? It's not as difficult as it was in undergrad. A lot of people get intimidated by UCLA overall. So we will be officially complete. Sorry that we went over 3 extra minutes. And thank you for your attendance. And I will stay on and answer a few questions. And if you want to reach out to me, please use the link that I provided earlier. And very nice to meet you all tonight. Thank you for your questions.
Hi, Dylan.